What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and hey, happy back to school day to all of you. You know, I don't know exactly when school went back for people around the world, but I know right here where I'm at, school just went back for the very first day today. And you know, had it been me and back when I was going to school, on a day like today, that first day back to school, I'd have been like, God, I cannot believe the summer is over. I used to hate going back to school, and that's probably, in part, the reason why I would end up getting in so much trouble in my life. I know it probably doesn't have much to do with it, but I'm sure vaguely and remotely and minutely, it probably has a little bit to do with it. So if today was your first day going back to school, I do truly hope you were excited to go back to school, you were enthusiastic, you were just ready. And you wanted to go back to school. Because I know, again, had it been me when I was going back to school, summer's over. Summer's like, man, what? Won't gonna be no getting happy or being happy about that. But with the fact that school is now back in session, what better video to come with than going back to school? You already know where I'm going with this. In prison. Excuse me. Going back to school in prison. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Joe, what is you getting ready to talk about? Well, trust and believe what I'm getting ready to tell y'all about is some good stuff. Some good, insightful, and also, I'm going to do my damnedest to make this as entertaining as possible. And you know, real quick, before I get into this, let me just go ahead and throw this in here as well. I probably need to mention this. I know a lot of people have questions about Danny. What's going on with Danny? What is going to happen with Danny? And After Prison Show, those two things combined right there. I will be addressing all of that very soon in an upcoming video. But for now, we're getting back in front of the green screen in our trusty rusty old chair right here, and we're shooting some videos from right here. That's what we're doing right now. So with that, going back to school in prison. Boy, this joint gonna be a banger. I swear to God it's gonna be a banger. Go ahead and smash that like button for me if you haven't done so yet. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Where do I even begin with this? And you know, I think the best place that I can begin this is a little of my story. You know, I can remember back when I was in high school, and again, I used to hate going to school for whatever reason. I just didn't like school. I should have liked school. Man, if I'd only been excited and enthused about going to school, I might have never even went to prison. I might actually have me a real good job right now. But that's not what happened for me at all. And in fact, you know, when I was in high school, I remember this as clear as day. I remember walking into this class. It was probably some sort of an algebra math class. It was probably like algebra 1.1. I remember I was so bad at math that they literally had me in algebra 1.5. Because I couldn't handle all that algebra at one time. They had to break it up into two. Algebra 1A, algebra 1B, something along those lines. I was in the algebra illiterate class. Because I ain't no good at math. Y'all know that. Y'all know I ain't no good at math. But I'm pretty sure it was when I was walking into one of these algebra classes, I sat down and the teacher had put this piece of paper down on the desk in front of me. And what this piece of paper was a dropout statistics printout. And it said like all of these different stats and statistics about people who drop out of school. And you know, I couldn't pay this no mind because I knew I was on the fast track to getting ready to drop out myself. I knew I was getting ready to be done with school, and that was about to be it. But one of the things that stuck out, and I will never forget this for as long as I live, one of the statistics listed on that piece of paper was something along the lines of like, you know, within a year of dropping out, like 65% of people who do so, they're going to end up locked up within that year. And you know, again, as I'm looking at this piece of paper, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? This ain't gonna be me. This ain't gonna be me. I ain't gonna be one of these. I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna become a millionaire. I'm gonna be a famous rapper, country singer. I'm gonna play video games for them. I don't know, but I'm gonna do something. I don't need no school. School for what? You know, I really should have taken heed and listened to what was listed on that piece of paper. I actually tried to find that same exact statistic for this video. I couldn't find it, but what I did find was pretty interesting as well. And that said that here in the US, 75% of the crimes committed are committed by people who have dropped out of school, which is a really interesting and easy to understand figure. But you know, me being the philosopher here, I just think to myself, well, if 75% of crime committed in the US is committed by people who have dropped out of school, well, what is the other 25% committed by? College professors? Wouldn't that be the damnedest thing if that's really what it was? 75% of the crime committed here in the US is committed by high school dropouts, while the other 25% is committed by Einstein brainiac college professors. That wasn't funny. I'm sorry. That joke didn't land as strongly as I was hoping it would. I quit. I'm just kidding. I'm having fun today. I'm having fun. It feels good to be back in my chair. It feels good. We're back. We back, y'all. We back, and we're gonna be here. So, you know, as I'm beginning this, I want this to really resonate with any young people who might be watching this. You're in school right now. Maybe you're not liking school. You're thinking about dropping out. Don't do it. I wish I had me, however many years ago, telling my younger version of myself. I wish this version of me was sitting right next to myself when I was in high school reading that piece of paper, telling myself, Joe, don't do it. You could have a really good job if you don't. But I did. And then I went through everything that I went through. So with the fact that I myself would end up dropping out and then getting in a ton of trouble, getting locked up multiple different times, many different times, going to all sorts of different jails, all sorts of different prisons, through 2 different prison sentences, endless jail stints. You know, the education is super important. And you know, there's also a lot of studies and a lot of scientific research. I'm not really sure if this was done in a laboratory or not, but there's also a lot of information that says education in terms of rehabilitation and reintegration into society, it is a super, super important thing. In fact, I've read something that says prison education reduces recidivism. Boy, MGK, you ain't got nothing on that bar right there. That's hot lava flow right there. Prison education reduces recidivism by 40%. So if you're educating prisoners, giving them a chance to either get their GED, get some sort of a skill or a trade, or maybe even some college, that's going to help reduce recidivism, meaning guys getting released and then committing a new crime and then getting locked back up again. But for those of you who may not know what recidivism is, well, that's what it is right there. Getting released and then getting locked up again. But if you educate the prisoners, you can reduce that by 40%. So that's a really good thing. And you know, with that number being damn near half, it's almost half. My math ain't that bad. I know that 40% is almost half. If you can reduce guys getting out and then coming back to jail or prison by almost half, just by educating them, why ain't we doing more of that? Why ain't we? And honestly, I don't know. I got a feeling it probably has something to do with money. It usually always has something to do with money, and that's just my own little hypothesis and thought. It's probably pretty expensive to do that. Now look, I want to share something else about myself, and I'm not trying to just sit here and make this all about myself, but I'm using myself as the example. And this is kind of interesting to think about. And I didn't even think of this legitimately. I didn't think of this at all until right now, as I was thinking of this. I know that doesn't make any sense at all, but part of what I'm getting ready to tell you I had already thought about, and the other part, it literally just came to me right now. And that is that when I got locked up to serve the 7 years that I would, the last time that I was locked up, that was almost 3 years ago, and it will be the last time that I'm ever locked up. During that time when I knew I was facing a load of time, I didn't even have my GED at that point. Well, you know what I did while I was waiting to go to court and everything, and I really just didn't have nothing else to do? I enrolled in the GED program because that was something that was offered at the jail, and in fact, that's offered at almost every single facility. I don't think there's one facility here in the United States that does not have a GED program. It might take you a little while to get into that program because everybody's probably trying to get into it or is already enrolled in it, but I can guarantee you, every single facility, and if there's one that doesn't, please list that so we can put them on blast down here in this comment section or in an upcoming video. But I can almost guarantee that every single facility here in the US, they offer a GED program. And again, when I got locked up to get ready to serve those 7 years, I enrolled myself in the GED program. And I successfully completed that GED program probably in something like 4 months. Within 4 months, I was able to obtain my GED. And you know, the damnedest thing about it is it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like rocket science. I thought it was going to be hard. Maybe it wasn't so hard because I was locked up and I really didn't have nothing to do but study and learn this stuff. But guess what? I ended up getting that GED within 4 months. And you know what? This is that thing that I just thought about. All of that I just shared with you, that was what I had previously thought to include with this video. But this is what I just thought about. Look at me. I got my GED while locked up. I got my education, or some sort of an education. I got my good enough diploma, or whatever you refer to a GED as. I got some education while locked up, and I ain't recidivism. I don't think that's the right way to use that word. I don't think you can use recidivism as a verb. But I haven't gone back. So I'm part of that 40% that they just said. Educate the prisoners, and you can reduce recidivism by 40%. And you know, there's a lot of things that I got to throw into this. One of those things is, here in the state of Virginia, and I'm not sure if this applies to other states, I'm sure there are other states that this definitely applies to. But here, when you go to prison, you have got to either get your GED or be enrolled in a class, partaking in that class, working toward getting your GED. Because if you don't do that, if you don't go to the school and you ain't got no GED and you ain't even trying to get no GED, they're going to take all of your good time. And that good time, you don't want to lose that good time. You already got to do 85% of your sentence, so you figure for every year that you're locked up, you got to do 10 months and 15 days. And let's think if you got 5 years, 5 times 1.5 months equals that damn algebra. But that's a lot of time to be losing right there if you've got a 5-year sentence. So, you know, it's easier to just say, you know what? Even if I don't want to get my GED, I'm at least going to get enrolled in class because I'm not trying to lose 5 years times 1.5 months a year. I'm not trying to lose that. I'm just going to go to school and do absolutely nothing and kick it with my homeboys, which there are quite a few dudes who do exactly that. But here in this state, you have got to either get your GED or you got to be in that class when it's time for you to get released. Because if you don't, and you didn't, and you ain't even tried to, they taking all of that good time away from you. And you're gonna end up doing 100% of your time. So though that sucks, and though you're like, damn, why they gonna make me do all my time just because I ain't been to school? They do that, and it's something that I actually agree with. They do that to entice and enhance your wanting to get you some type of an education. Because if you ain't got no education at all and you a high school dropout with a criminal record and you ain't even got no GED, McDonald's ain't even gonna look at you twice. They not. They not. You're gonna be a post-hole digger for the rest of your life. Post-hole digger, where did I get that from? Oh, that's what PhD stands for. It's kind of funny. I heard that a long time ago. I thought that was kind of cute. So going back to school and prison, it's a major thing. And you know, let's continue with this because there's some very, very interesting things that we about to touch upon right now. And that is college in prison. You know, back in the day, back when Danny was in prison and back when I was in prison, it was already getting phased out, or maybe it had just gotten phased out. Back in the day, you really used to be able to get you a college education in prison. You could be things like a paralegal, which is what Danny studied, and you could be things such as, I don't know what else you could be, but you could get you a college education for a number of different things while locked up. And there was also a good possibility that you could get a grant or you could get this college education for almost free. Which, if you think about it, I mean, that's something that anybody who was locked up should have been trying to do. But again, when I was locked up, they didn't really have this at all. And I don't know when this was taking place, if you know, every single prisoner was involved in this. I'm pretty sure they weren't. I'm pretty sure it was just like those GED classes. They fill up fast. You got to wait your turn. Sometimes you might not get a turn, and it's just the way that it goes. And you know, this college education provided to prisoners, it came in a whole bunch of different forms. It came in the form of a Pell Grant. It came in the form of contributions from people like Bill and Melinda Gates. They actually contributed to prisoners getting an education back in the day. And I don't know exactly what happened, but then all of a sudden, back in the 90s, this got phased out. They got rid of the Pell Grants and the foundations and the donations for prisoners to get a college education. And again, I don't know why they got rid of it. But if you want to talk about taking away probably the best damn thing you could be giving to prisoners, some more education, some higher learning, oh, that was the worst thing you could have done for the prisoners. And maybe they did this because they were like, you know, prisoners shouldn't get no free ride through college. All these other people out here in the free world, they got to pay for it. And you know what? I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. I can see where people are coming from who have been to college and are still paying off student debt. But I'm not honestly sure why they got rid of this. But I can tell you something crazy. And you ain't gonna believe this when I tell it to you. And we about to get into it. College Joe, we about to get into it. Let me share a little FYI with y'all real quick. It was back in the 1990s when they phased out and eliminated Pell Grants for prisoners. Government aid, government funding for prisoners to go to college. And do you want to know, or do you know, who it was, which president it was that eliminated the Pell Grants for prisoners? Y'all want to know? Take a guess. I'm going to give you a second to guess. Back in the 1990s, what president got rid of the Pell Grants for prisoners? You ain't never going to believe this when I tell it to you. Never going to believe it. But I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure I make you fall out of your chair when I tell you. The president that got rid of the Pell Grants for prisoners was this guy right here. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. I would have been, I'd be damned. I ain't think it would be Bill Clinton. This guy right here. This guy. Look at the way he looking at her though. Look at the way he looking at her. He looking at her thinking to himself like, yeah, I did it. I'll be the first to admit I did it. I am still thinking about the fact I got rid of them Pell Grants for them prisoners. I'm thinking, that's exactly what I'm thinking about right here. The way I'm looking at this girl like this. My God, I cannot believe they got me all over the internet looking at this girl like this. I'm the one. I'm the one. Forget the Oval Office. I'm the one. I'm the one that got rid of them Pell Grants for them prisoners. I signed off on that bill. Eliminate that act. Bill Clinton did that. And you know what? Shame on you, Bill Clinton. Shame on you. Not just for what you did with the Pell Grants, but what you did at that Aretha Franklin funeral. Looking at Ariana Grande like that. My God, Bill. Bill, please come have a conversation with the prison Dr. Phil. I'll sit you right here. We'll talk all about it. I want to pick your mind, Bill. I really do. I really want to know why you got rid of those Pell Grants for prisoners that could help reduce recidivism by almost half. And I also really want to know what you was thinking about the way you looking at that girl like that. Bill, she is more than double half your age. Bill, they got you. You a meme, Bill. You a mean, Bill. How'd I do? Did I do all right? You're not laughing, are you? I feel like that's another joke that didn't land as strongly as I was hoping. You know, when I was pre-gaming, when I was rehearsing this, everything was landing like a cat right on its feet. Can't make y'all laugh today for some reason. Sorry. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know you laughing. I know you laughing. You got to be laughing. How funny was that? If you haven't left a like on this video, please do so. Please. Why wouldn't you like that? That was funny. I thought it was funny. But yeah, it was Bill Clinton that got rid of the Pell Grants for prisoners. I can't, I couldn't believe it unless I read it. But I read it, and they said that. It's crazy. Matter of fact, I got the article right here. It says, when Congress cut Pell Grants for prisoners. This happened nearly 20 years ago. Congress ended a notable federal effort to support higher education behind bars. Inmates of state and federal prisons became ineligible for Pell Grants through a provision of the 1994 Omnibus Crime Bill that President Bill Clinton signed into law. And again, if anybody has any idea why they got rid of these Pell Grants, please comment down below and let me know, because I don't know. And I also want to know what you think. Do you think that prisoners should be eligible? I was going to say entitled. They're not entitled. But do you think they should be allowed? That's a better way to word it. Allowed to get a college education for free. I got to throw that in there as well. I want to throw this in here as well. I think that they still have college available for prisoners. In fact, I know they do. They do. They still have colleges, these online colleges or these correspondence course colleges, where you mail in and they send you the criteria that prisoners can do while locked up. However, they got to pay for it. And it's thousands and thousands of dollars, which prisoners don't get because they got jobs where they're making 25 cents up to $2 or $3 an hour while serving their time. So no prisoners got the money to do this. I've seen prisoners take these college correspondence courses that do cost thousands of dollars, but mommy and daddy or their prison pen pal girlfriend is paying for it. Somebody's paying for that. It ain't being done through no grants, no foundations. They paying to take these courses. And I've also read that there's been numerous bills presented to the House or the Senate in an effort to try to bring back these Pell Grants for prisoners. So maybe, who knows, maybe they will do something with that. I honestly think that they should. I think that, prisoners should use their time. If they've got a release date, prisoners should be able to use their time as productively as possible. The GED thing is great. And even if it's not Pell Grants and college educations, well, then there definitely needs to be more trades and skilled jobs that guys are being trained for behind bars so that when they get released, they can go to a job site and they can say, hey, guess what? I am a certified, qualified X, Y, and Z. Yes, I do have a criminal record, but I also have a GED. Can you give me a chance? So if it's not college education that they're going to give to prisoners, I don't know, again, if that's going to come back or not. It definitely needs to be, along with the GED, some sort of skilled trades job training. That's just my own personal opinion. And when I run for president in 2020, I'm going to run on that campaign right there. Rehabilitation through job training and education. I wanted to share these things with you because, again, school just went back today or just went back recently, wherever you're at. And education is so important. It's just so important. It's important beyond being locked up. It's probably the most important thing in life. You have got to have an education, because if you don't have an education, there's a 75% chance you're going to end up getting locked up, committing crime. And no matter how you feel about school right now, and I'm talking to the young folks, I'm talking to the people who ain't never been through it. I'm talking to the people who hate getting up in the morning, who hate going to school, who hate everything. No matter how you feel about school right now, I hope this resonates and this reaches you. And believe me, I used to feel the same exact way. Trust and believe when I tell you, it's best to take it serious now and put forth all the effort that you need to in an effort to succeed and get through it now so that you can lead a productive and fulfilling and enjoyable life. Because if you don't, and you end up doing the same thing that old Joe did, dropping out, there's going to come a point in time when you're going to have to focus on getting that education. And you don't want to be me, 26 years old, trying to get a damn GED while you're locked up facing who knows how much time. So make the most of not only every day, but make the most of your education as well. I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to give you guys a good piece today. I hope I made you guys laugh. I hope I gave you guys some insightful content here, and there is a lot more to come. But I felt like this was an important topic to address today, being that school's going back today. And I can remember vividly how I used to act when school was going back when I was a young. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment if you haven't done so already. And until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!